Today I went to a therapist for the first time in a decade, and she diagnosed me with being too hard on myself. Grab your beverage of choice and get cozy, get comfy. So the term self-actualization was popularized by a psychologist named Abraham Maslow, famous for Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is a theory, a psychological theory, that humans have basically 5 layers, 5 tiers of needs. The last one being self-actualization, meaning the psychological process aimed at maximizing the use of one's abilities and resources. This process may vary from one person to another. From the Positive Psychology article on self-actualization, self-actualization can generally be thought of as the full realization of one's creative, intellectual, and social potential through internal drive. I think that's kind of what makes self-actualization so difficult to achieve, is that there is no one-size-fits-all answer. My kind of beef with self-actualization and self-help type stuff is kind of the rigidity of it. You see all online, all these people who are pretending to have really rigid routines and schedules and formulas to success. The 5 a.m. club and doing whatever's trending in the self-help space, really. And similarly with the pyramid, it's a very, structural, you gotta do this before you do this, and then this, and then this, and this. But I feel the missing piece in all of this is humans are in constant states of fluctuation. At least for me, I wake up a different person every day, essentially. It's normal for life to have ebbs and flows. It's normal to go through periods of hardship and then periods of, success. Or it's normal to have good times and bad times. It's normal to just, that's life, baby. It's a roller coaster. Self-actualization isn't something you can just obtain. It's kind of a continual process, or a state of being, that you can embody, but it's forever changing. And something about me, I have, we all have our problems, we all have our weaknesses and strengths. We were all born with advantages and disadvantages, and while I was born with a lot of advantages, God had to nerf me somehow. I often say that I would have been too powerful, so God had to just, cut me down a peg and give me bad veins, poor circulation. So people who deal with chronic pain, chronic illness, and mental health issues. Hi, hello, nice to meet you. I'm Emma. When it's you wake up a completely different person every day, with a completely different capabilities and strengths and energy levels. And, it's, for me, I can't plan days really in advance. I can have a loose schedule, but every day I wake up and I have to make an assessment in what I'm capable of that day. So instead of seeing the hierarchy of needs and the pyramid shape where you get one, so then you can build upon it and put another one down, and you have to reach each level before you can get to the next one, I think of it more as collecting infinity stones. You have the 5 infinity stones, and for demonstration I have a bunch of rocks. Imagine that these are all the infinity stones / your collection of needs. We're gonna say that this one is your basic physiological needs, and also your health. We'll say that this one also represents your health. This one is a very important one and will affect all of the other ones. And then here. And then we got this little rock, and this one, And this is your security. It's your sense of well-being. Do you feel like safe and, stable? This is, stability is a big one. It's really hard to plan for the future if you're not really sure if you're gonna, if you don't feel secure in your future, that's a big one, very important. And then we have love and belonging. Do you feel like you got people you can rely on, people who care about you? Do you care about other people? Your social battery, that lies in here. And then we got your self-esteem. How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel like you're capable? Do you feel like you have what it takes to do the things you need to do and all of that jazz to get where you need to go? Do you care about yourself? Do you feel like, your needs and wants are important and worth advocating for? That one. And then finally, this is the Self-Actualization stone. This is like the reality stone. When this one's activated, you're feeling creative and innovative. You're working towards your goals. You're making meaningful progress. You believe that you can create your own reality and that all of your hard work and effort will pay off in the future. And, all of those wonderful things. So kind of how I visualize it is that every day you wake up and not all the stones are active. Life is going to throw things at you. Certain events are going to kind of activate and deactivate some of the stones. And it's about like working with the stones you got, working with the hand you're dealt with. I am an artist and I love tarot cards. I've been using tarot cards for years, and I made my own tarot deck. I just got the prototype for in the mail. It's all geese themed. It's very fun. Whoa, look at it. Whoa, it's crazy. Look, here's the sun.
Wow.
Whoa. Isn't that neat? But something I love to do every day is a daily habit is drawing 3 tarot cards, which symbolize kind of what the vibe of the day is going to be, the task of the day, and the chance for the day. And just kind of drawing those 3 cards kind of like sets me up. I think like an important like framework for me specifically is like sometimes like the vibe of the day is off. Like we don't have control over what the day is going to bring us, but we do control, other aspects like what we do and, how we navigate the things that are thrown our way. I have a personal mission, kind of just accept reality and to not beat myself up over whether or not all of my stones are in a row. This is where I'm going to talk about the power of rest and patience, something that, I struggle with. So recently, okay, stick with me on this one. We're going to get into a personal story. So on Monday or Tuesday, my 2-year-old finally learned how to climb out of his crib. So we had to put the toddler attachment on the crib, so now he can kind of get in and out of the crib whenever he wants. He's a grown boy. It's gonna happen eventually, obviously, but the next day we tried nap time. It was a disaster. Like it was the first time, with him having freedom like that, and it was probably confusing and scary, and he cried. He did not like it. He did not like being left alone in his room, and he screamed and cried, and it just was throwing me in a spiral with a bunch of other stuff that was happening. I've been having some like health issues, but nothing like super serious or anything. So physically, I just haven't been as capable as, you know, as I have been in the past, or I have very minimal energy to expend, and I have to be very calculated with where I put my energy, because I only have so much, and I only have so little time. And because of this nap meltdown, I also, deregulated, spiral, that I was like, I'm never going to get anything done ever again. He's never going to nap again. I already have so little time and so little energy to put into things that, I'm never going to be able to do anything ever again. As we do when we spiral and we catastrophize. And just like a lot of old triggers and old programs about feeling like I'm never going to be able to push forward. I've been feeling very stagnant, and like that I'm not able to move as fast as I would like, and things aren't happening as fast as I would like. But on the flip side, if we zoom out a bit, we take all of our expectations for ourselves out of it. Rest periods and like downtime and slow periods are just a normal part of nature and human design in general. Like, it's winter, it's February, it sucks out. Like, February is the saddest month of the year, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you have a particularly sad time of the year, but to me, it's February. It's gray, it's sad, it's slushy, it's gross. We had like so much snow. We've been trapped in the house. And looking after a small child is also, doing something. It's not like I'm not doing anything. Every day he's getting a bit older and a bit, smarter and stronger, and it's really wonderful to see. I'm filming this on February 28th, and my birthday's coming up next week. I'm going to be turning 28, which is, that's kind of cool. I'm not mad at that number. We're approaching closer to our 30s, and I'm excited about my 30s. I think my 30s are going to be pretty rad. So we're 1 year closer. Side note tangent. I asked my boss, my old boss, who's like about my parents' age, what her favorite age was if she could go back, and she said 36. 36 was her best year if she could go back. That was about the time where everything clicked and everything was good. So if you're a youngin' out there, there's hope. The future is not always bleak, I promise. What do I do when I'm having a spiral and I everything just seems out of my control and my thoughts are just going and catastrophizing and everything's going to be horrible and I wish I didn't exist and blah, 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 blah. What I did was I took a nap. If you just give yourself a good old turn it off and turn it back on again, take a nap, go to bed, whatever, that is the best way to fix whatever problem that you're having. That's been my experience, at least. All of my worst days or worst nights, what solved it was going to bed and waking up again. And also, your brain is constantly processing and doing new things and processing information. Especially, it's good for your creativity. You need rest and downtime for your brain to come up with new ideas and to put things together and pieces together. Basically, if you give your brain a problem, it'll work on it. And then if you give it some time to think on the, process the problem in the background, and you sleep and you rest and you do the dishes and other things, it'll spit out an answer. It's pretty great, It's like your own little supercomputer that you're born with. So really what I need to do, and what I suspect a lot of people might need to do, is really just embrace the flow of life, however it's flowing for you. Whatever timeline you're on, just, don't try to force it. Forcing it will never work. Anytime I've tried to force anything in my life, it's never worked. One of the biggest takeaways I've learned is that small, consistent effort equals big progress over time. Even if it's just whatever you can do in, like, for the day. Give yourself like one task for the day, whatever you're capable of. All of that adds up over time. This tarot deck that I have in my hands took me like a year of my life to complete, and having it in my hands is so wonderful. I did all of these illustrations just one page at a time, and like seeing it all come together into like a finished project is just, it's a feeling I can't describe. And even now, like in this kind of this slower period, all of the steps I'm taking now are also going to add up to something big in the future, and that it's okay that it's not happening instantaneously. There was a time where I wouldn't be able to finish a project to save my life. The project I attempted before this was going to be a calendar for the Year of the Dragon, which was last year, 2024. And I got through 4 of them before I scrapped it and decided that it wasn't working and I needed to do something else. So the fact that I could actually complete 78 illustrations was game-changing. You are capable of doing things and achieving your dreams. You just gotta break it down and do small steps at a time. It's worth it, I promise. So yeah, this is I guess this is just a reminder that self-actualization and like reaching your potential or whatever is a lifelong process that is forever changing, and it's never something you can like quote unquote like achieve. It's just, part of life. If you're somebody who's hard on themselves and is overly critical of themselves, like me, like my therapist said today, it was my first appointment. She got that, in 50 minutes. So I'm like, all right, she's pretty spot on. She must be good at what she does. So yeah, it might be a good exercise to, kind of calibrate yourself to like what stones you have active today and like what you're working with, and don't be hard on yourself if you physically cannot do certain things certain days. Like some days I wake up and I'm raring to go. I'm ready. I got a lot of ideas. I'm motivated and I just want to do everything. And like those days are great when all of my stones are lit up and I'm feeling good and I got a lot of time to do whatever I need to do. And some days, survival is the goal. We're getting through it. Some days it's chicken nuggets in the air fryer and doing our best to have like a nice, peaceful, calm day with, and that's how we get done. And that's fine. And that's life. And that's like, you're not any less valuable than the days where you're getting a lot of stuff done. It is about the process over time and everything adding up together that makes like the whole picture of life, Fun painting anecdote is that like you don't want the whole canvas or the whole picture to be busy and full of detail. Like you need negative space in an image for places for your eyes to rest, to make like visually appealing and pleasing images. So it's the same thing in the tapestry of life. You need those days where you're not doing you need those rest days. You need those like you need the negative space in your daily life too. So don't be too hard on yourself. You're doing great, okay? This is a pep talk. You just gotta have a whole lot of patience. They say patience is a virtue for a reason, and now I know why. After getting a taste of it, of seeing my efforts pay off. So patience, some self-trust and confidence will take you very, very far. Where do you think you are on the, on the scale? What stones you got activated? I'd love to know. I would like to think that I'm at a place where I'm doing pretty good and I have a lot of my stones activated most of the time. But recently it's felt like a little bit of a setback, but it's temporary. It is all temporary. So, yeah, if you like the video, feel free to subscribe. If you're interested in the tarot deck, I'm going to have an email sign up in the description below, and you can sign up there, and I'll send you an email with updates for the Kickstarter campaign that I'm going to be doing to fund the tarot deck, so everybody can have it if they want it. I'm still working on all of that. I have more samples of things coming in the mail. Everything takes forever. If you're going to manufacture anything, just be ready for it to take forever. Alrighty, that's the end of the video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and this is a reminder to be less hard on yourself. You're doing great. Bye.